As for now, we're in that wee kind of period, that in between, where we can just have a laugh and have a bit of fun. So that's the main message for the day, right? Don't take this video too seriously. Just come in, celebrate Celtic winning a trophy, and have a f***ing drink. How are we all feeling today then, eh? Still cheery, still happy, still celebrating perhaps? I wouldn't blame you. Why? 3 in a row. Champions again. You don't need me to remind you. But, you know, I thought I may as well, considering, you know, 3 in a row.
Lucky Rangers, 3 in a row, sorry! 3 in a row!
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. It is great to see you on this fine Thursday morning. A Thursday morning which ushers in the first of a new Brendan Rodgers era. The first championship of the new Brendan Rodgers era. I am absolutely buzzing. I'm sure you are too. If you haven't already, please make sure to head over to the bit below this video where you can like and subscribe. We're trying to get towards 50,000 subscribers this year. If we can get as close to that as possible, it'd be great. Let's celebrate this league title in style, ladies and gents. Let's do it together. And all your help would be appreciated. I don't even know how to do this video today because we're just in that state of euphoria right now, which is great. I don't want that to change. I'm getting used to this, you know. I've been doing this YouTube thing for a while now, and you know, apart from one season, I've came on and done this same video every single year. And this is the 4th time that we've done it under Brendan Rodgers. So, you know, it's a familiar feeling, to say the least. He said we would see him in May. And boy, if you look at the images from Celtic Park last night, we did see him. We seen him and the rest of the Celtic squad celebrate their league title success at Rugby Park last night. They brought the squad back to a thunderous reception at Celtic Park. People coming from all over the city to welcome the team back. And it just shows you that none of this ever wears off. None of this ever fades. No matter who's in charge, no matter who's in the team, and no matter how many times we do it, this feeling of success and this continued glory that we see year upon year at Celtic will never ever get boring. You know how when we always hear those things from, you know, talk sport journalists or people down south on Twitter, and they always say, does it not get boring being a Celtic fan? It never gets boring. And I think that we show that every year when we pile outside the stadium to welcome back our Premiership winning sides. What a feeling. 3 in a row for Celtic. Rightful celebrations across Glasgow last night as we bring home what was a challenging title to win. Last night was just one of those nights. It was the perfect storm, wasn't it? Everything about the evening and the occasion came together for Celtic to be crowned champions of Scotland once more. The anniversary of Tommy Burns being at the same place where Tommy Burns was a player at Kilmarnock, where he ended his career. Obviously being the man that he is, the Celtic man that he is, all of that coming together on his anniversary. And the way that we performed, the way that we played, as I said, it was just the perfect storm. Celtic really couldn't have put out there a better performance. They couldn't have done much better. A 5-0 win at Rugby Park, a place where Brendan Rodgers has really not got the best record, a place where we've struggled already this season, where we haven't won on 2 previous occasions, to then go and win 5-0 in such a manner, to go and seal the league title, to wrap it all up and go into Saturday in such a joyous mood without any nerves or anxiety. It was just amazing. It was just perfect how it was all done. And we put out one of our performances of the season. You know, it's nice that we've been building this crescendo over the past few weeks to seeing better performances and just ultimately a more fun side to watch. To just do that last night in the manner that we did and then bring that atmosphere to every Celtic supporter, both online and the grounds, and then obviously at Celtic Park afterwards as well. Everything just feels good again at the minute. And I spoke about this last night on my match reaction stream. You know, I feel like when Ange Postecoglou left last year, a lot of positivity and a lot of optimism also left with him. A lot of Celtic fans kind of forfeited and resigned their hopes and dreams with him leaving the club. And to see so many people, and basically all Celtic fans in unison now, back in the one boat, back in that place of positivity and genuinely being optimistic about the future with Brendan Rodgers makes me really, really happy. It's something I've been waiting for the whole season, and I know it's took a while for this team to click and really find their rhythm and find the way that they want to play. And that stride that's going to take us forward and believe in us going forward. But now that we have got that, and now that we've seen cold hard evidence of that in the past few games, it makes me really, really optimistic about next season and moving on. And I'm absolutely delighted for the manager for this group of players who have never given up throughout this campaign, even when things were hard, even when there was games where we doubted them, and even when there were situations where we thought we could have threw away a league title. For this squad and that manager to come through and do things in the manner that they have and wrap it up in the fashion that they did at Rugby Park last night, and to ultimately show who are still and always will be the top dogs in this country, just makes me absolutely delighted. And it's made this season really, really worth it. Don't get me wrong, it's always nice when we romp the league, and there has been times this season where we have demanded and deserved better from Celtic Football Club. At times we haven't delivered, we've been given shoddy performances, and it hasn't been brilliant on the eye. But sometimes winning a league title in the fashion that we did this year has that sweeter edge to it. Just makes it that little bit better to take, and a little bit sweeter to watch the other side try and take as well, because they've struggled. They have really, really struggled to wrap their heads around this has happened. If you go and look at the social media reaction and you go and look at what's going on, it's just been that bit sweeter watching them take this in and watch it happen, because they had so much faith, and Brendan Rodgers was there once more to kill it all. So as I said at the top of the video, I don't even know where I want to go today and how to handle this video, because we're all just in that state of euphoria, that never-ending joy, which makes it hard to sit down and just have a proper conversation, because you just want to celebrate, you just want to be talking about the positives, and you just want to repeat the same old phrases that make you feel like you're the champions that you are. But we are going to try. The images last night from Rugby Park were absolutely amazing, and then images, of course, that followed at Celtic Park from the post-match celebrations. Brendan Rodgers, he tried to give a number of interviews to the media after the game. Skies didn't really go to plan, as it seemed Chris Boyd was tampering with the microphones. But we did manage to hear some of what Brendan Rodgers managed to say across his numerous interviews and his numerous post-match reactions. I mean, it's a big moment for him, coming back to the doubters and coming back to the people who didn't think he would do it, or the people that thought he was washed, and to then come out on top. This is a massive league title for him, showing that, you know, he left this country the elite manager that he is, and he's came back the same guy. So let's have a look at some of his comments. So speaking to Radio Scotland, this is some of the things that Brendan Rodgers said. He said, "It's something I felt would come. People judged the team going all the way back to August. There was so much negativity around us and the performance levels. Once we started to get players back, they've been immense, I have to say. So much has happened in various ways. At times, when there was a lot of criticism, we just stayed with it. We stayed focused and believed in what we were doing. There was immense pressure over the last couple of months. You could only look at the results and performances to see how they've coped with that. It means a lot. There were question marks all over me. But was I good enough to be here? Could I manage this team? Could I get them to play a level of football that's expected here at Celtic? For the first time in my career, I've had the spotlight on me in terms of my playing style. But I've never doubted this season because of what I see from the players every day. So honest and so hard working. As the season has gone on, we've got better and better. I'm so pleased for them and the supporters over the last few months. We've come together." So Brendan Rodgers really drilling through that point about how the unity between both the players, the fans, and him himself as the manager overseeing it all has really brought us together and made us stronger, really. And that's something that you've really felt as a supporter in the grounds, online, whatever. Generally, you've seen this kind of fracture that was maybe there a few months ago heal itself. And if you're still negative about things, I ask you why. You've obviously got a man who cares very deeply for the club in charge. You've got a group of players who have given their 100% to him. And even when things have been tough this season, you know, they believed in each other. They believed in the manager, and the manager has believed in them. And that's why we're standing here now as champions, because, you know, even when there was outside noise, whether it be from our own supporters, whether it be from the media or other critics, you know, they've not let that outside noise in. And that's what's brought us here to this moment. That's what's brought us to another league title. And ultimately, it's what makes Celtic serial winners. Because, you know, this question will come up every now and then. You know, people will ask serious questions of how we're doing, you know. And people done the same thing when we brought in an unknown manager like Ange Postecoglou. Oh, that outside noise. Who's Ange? Why is he here? Oh, this is going to fail. He didn't fail. Remember, he went on and won that league title in his first season. Why? Because the unity brought us together and made us stronger. And you're seeing similar vibes to that now with Rodgers over the past couple of months, because even when Celtic fans at times were maybe on his back, they rallied. They got there. They got behind him because we've seen the improvement and we've seen how much it meant to him and the players. So when that unity is there and it's strong, it really just comes together in such a fantastic way, and it creates special moments just like another league title win for Celtic. I think one of the biggest talking points from last night that we've got to cover in today's video, though, and I want to try and get through it very quickly, is the conversation surrounding Adam Idah, who last night once again put out a brilliant performance for us. He bagged one of the goals in the game, which has brought us to being champions, and ultimately over his very short stint at Celtic, which may or may not be coming to an end in the next couple games, he's delivered massive moments for us that have really spurred us on to winning a league title, and we should never ever forget that. Whether he does remain a Celtic player next season or not, I don't know if we'd be here without the contributions given to us by Adam Idah. He has been fantastic, he's been a constant professional, and he's somebody who I think has well deserved the conversation of a permanent deal being struck up by the club. The reason I bring this up in today's video, because aside from the obvious champions conversation that we're having, I think if you take away all of that, if you strip back the fact that we've got a league title we've just won, the biggest conversation has been around Adam Idah. I think that you're seeing more and more people being won over and convinced by the fact that we should sign Adam Idah on a permanent deal, that we should go and try and make him a Celtic player. He's somebody that clearly loves it here. He's somebody who's given it his all every time he stepped on the park for us, and he's somebody who's delivered for us in some of the biggest moments. And I would love to see him. I think he's got all the qualities of a striker that you would like to have in your squad, and by no means do I think that he's Celtic's starting striker for the future. I think if we constantly see him score goals, if we did sign him and he kept scoring, then obviously we can start having that conversation. But he is a fantastic option to have, and he's got known quality. We spend money on him knowing what he brings, knowing that he scores goals, and knowing that he's going to contribute. Whereas if we go and spend that £5 million on another striker we've never seen play, they could come in and be the next Albion and a Yeti. Adam Idah is giving us guaranteed quality and guaranteed goals with a different dynamic to Kyogo, which really gives us a beautiful option when it comes to rotation. I love it. It's great. It's amazing. I use the word beautiful because you can go from Kyogo to Idah, and they're two very different strikers with two very different games, which sometimes you need to bring on Idah 60-70 minutes into a game if Kyogo's not doing it and he's not finding his way into the game. You bring on Idah, he's not going to play in the same light, he's not going to play in the same manner, which means defenders need to alter it. They need to change things up, and I think that's brilliant, and it's a great situation to have, great headache to have these two strikers to really create an option for Brendan Rodgers. Sign him up, Celtic. Go and bring him in. He has 10 goal contributions in his very, very limited amount of minutes that he's had as a Celtic player. I'm not even sure we've seen Adam Idah play a full 90. And he's tripped in like that. You've got to think about his goals at Motherwell. Where would we be without them? Would we be here right now? I don't know. That was a massive day, and he was responsible for that. He came off the bench and he delivered. Last night he started, made life a nightmare for the Kilmarnock defenders at Rugby Park. And must I say, before Adam Idah arrived here in January, we couldn't get a fucking sniff at Rugby Park. So there's clearly a difference, and clearly a great addition there in Adam Idah for games like that as well. He's somebody that has to be signed for me. Pay the money, Celtic. Do it. Bring him home. And he clearly loves it here. You see him last night out celebrating the result in the tune. He loves it. Bring him home. So we're just in a great place right now. I love this, and there's a lot to be optimistic about. Look, I know we've got to talk about the fact that Matt O'Reilly will probably leave and there is additions to be made, but I genuinely think if the board back the man that's in charge, Brendan Rodgers, and his recruitment team, we can go out there and we can do something this summer. I know that might be blind optimism because of the place we're in right now. I know they will probably be let down by the board, but we can't bring in all this money and not justify spending a good chunk of it to try and keep our firm grip on the league title. So that'll be something we talk about a lot over the summer. There's no point in getting too bogged down about it just now. Why? And people will. I already know for a fact. I'll go through the comments in this video and there'll be people moaning. There'll be people saying, oh, this, that, next about people leaving, and no, we shouldn't sign it. We're not going to spend money. Right, wind your neck in. Wind your neck in for a bit. Enjoy the success. We've got a big game on Saturday where we lift the trophy. We're going to party a wee bit. We've got then we've got to get serious for that Scottish Cup final as well. And then we have a summer of getting bogged down and talking about the negatives and moaning about things. We can do that through the summer. For now, I'm going to fucking enjoy it. We're on to 54 titles. And I don't know if we're going to start that cringy 55 patter, but it'll be a good wind up today because they made such a big deal of it for a decade. So we may as well have a wee bit of a laugh with it. But in terms of today's video, that's it. I know it's a bit all over the place, but we're champions, man. I'm letting my hair down. We'll be back to serious stuff on the podcast. We'll record that tonight. That'll be up tomorrow. Got a match reaction Saturday. And then we can get serious on Monday when we build into that cup final. As for now, we're in that wee kind of period, that in between, where we can just have a laugh and have a bit of fun. So that's the main message for the day, right? Don't take this video too seriously. Just come in, celebrate Celtic winning a trophy, and have a drink, right? I'll see you next time.